The Survivor Specialists are back, and today we are predicting episode number 5 of Survivor 50. We got our power rankings, and for the first time in way too long, I have Kellyn from Survivor Ghost Island joining me. Kellyn, I feel like you were a staple for like year after year, season after season. All of a sudden, the new era hit and kind of went our separate ways, and now here you are, you're back. I was like, she's watching. She needs to come on, and we need to chat again. So I'm happy to have you back here. How you doing?
Hey everybody. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been more quietly keeping up with Survivor, being a total Cash fan for the last, I don't know, all of the 40s. But for season 50, it's been really fun. This week, maybe it's taken a little tiny dip of all the drama we've seen, but I was eating up the first 3 episodes of the season. I'm so glad. I feel like, I don't know if you saw this, but I don't know if you saw that I tweeted with my two people. Like I had that last week. I woke up on Monday morning, like getting ready in the mirror for work and stuff. And I was like, I get to watch Survivor this Wednesday. And that was like the first time, like during the work week before, that I had that, like, oh yeah, Survivor's on this week. And that was I didn't know if I would ever get that feeling back, but season 50 has brought that back. And I have really been loving it. Minus Zack Brown with everyone else. But I'm excited to be here. Hi to everyone, all the fans of the specialists that have been there. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm the Nabidi Strong gut girl that nobody really liked from Survivor Ghost Island. But my post travels seem to go
with the fans. Exactly.
So if you want to go back,
if you want to go back and watch Survivor Ghost Island, yeah, Kellyn has like the same confessional about 6 or 7 times. And then she came on and did a tell-all, and she was like, I said that probably as many times as they aired it. They just aired every single time I said it. So here we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it fit the narrative, right? So
I've had the same feeling. Like, obviously, back in the Ghost Island days, we would do predictions and power rankings. We would do recaps, and that was really it. Now I'm doing recaps. I'm doing prediction power rankings. I'm doing Tuesday episodes. I'm doing Thursday episodes. And this season, we're doing the Tuesdays. That's new. It was Thursday, Wednesday, and Sunday. And now I got Tuesdays as well. And my wife was like, you think that's going to be too much? And I will say, as the season's going on, I want to be talking about Survivor. And I haven't necessarily had that feeling. I know, especially during 48, during some of 49, because it was essentially spoiled because Savannah was on the cast and because we knew her and Rizzo were going to go far enough to come back. Like, yeah, that hurt for sure. But I mean, this season I'm enjoying. And I know that people are really down on the Zack Brown Band thing. I talked about it on the recap, how it didn't bother me that much. Although the fishing part I could have absolutely done without. He probably should have been doing it with the castaways. I think what's funny about this season so far is people are talking about Survivor aggressively again. And whether that's good or bad, they
all press is good press, baby.
Yeah. I mean, because you were there for the Ghost Island thing of, kind of the gimmick of here's Eric's necklace, here's this, here's that. And it felt like all of those things where we want this to be the talking point this week. Now, the problem with Ghost Island is they did it like 4 episodes and didn't do it every episode. But now you have Zack Brown this week. We've already had the Billie Eilish Boomerang idol. We've had these different talking points. Jeff's rap was like the biggest news in the Survivor community. They have to be, I mean, even if most of the online community is down on Zack Brown, the numbers were the highest they've been all season. So CBS is like, great, just keep talking about it.
Yeah. Maybe it's bringing fans in. I don't know. It was as my mom, who's the casual of all casuals, was like, I don't know. It would just seem like a really long commercial. And I was like, isn't that the case? It really did ultimately feel just like a really long commercial. And I forget that it was a bad commercial because I don't remember all the things he was pitching other than a new album. There's stuff going on, but it was the fact that there are people we haven't heard from. And like the reason why, this is why I'm loving season 50 is like, oh yeah, this is why I have always loved Returnee seasons. Every confessional is a banger. Every contestant is playing the game. Like this is why Returnee Survivor is peak, and all of my favorite seasons are essentially Returnee seasons. So I'm happy as can be. And yeah, let's leave Zack Brown and Jeff's raps behind moving forward.
I know. I feel like the one good thing about the Zack Brown part is, especially if D, Coach, Joe, and Colby don't win, is if you go back and rewatch the season, you truly can fast forward through those 20 minutes. Like,
oh yeah,
you absolutely can if they don't win. Now, if they win, you kind of have to, but I like that. I think the editors, maybe they even knew, like, let's not put a lot of strategy talk in here because like it's not really, it doesn't make sense with the Zack Brown thing. But if you go back and rewatch that episode, cut out those 20 minutes. I think it's crazy. It's the lowest rated episode on IMDb. I've kind of given my reasons for that. I think people are just like kind of hive minding group think like this is terrible. But we had one of the best votes we've had in a very long time.
Yeah, the vote was really good. Yeah.
So
fair.
So no Ghost Island representation on the season, which I think it's crazy that Dom is not out there. I'm just
I mean, theoretically, Joe took Dom's spot, which just is an absolute, like, I can see the world in which producers say we can't have Dom and Joe at the same time. And this is just me. This isn't like I haven't talked to Dom about it. We're very good friends, but we didn't talk about like necessarily if we thought Joe, this is just me saying, it seems like you couldn't have Dom and Joe on the same season. And like the fact that Joe, I don't play and I'm loyal, like took Dom's spot, who was like one of the peak Survivor strategists and hilarious on TV and like really, really, really great Survivor, like in the 360-degree view. Gosh, I can't help but think that every single week, like what if Dom were out there? So I would have loved for Dom to get that spot.
Yeah, I'm really shocked. I mean, when it was coming out, I thought Devins, Dom, Christian locks because they didn't have a chance to return. You could say they had a chance for Edge of Extinction, but not really. And I thought they were going to be locked. So when Dom's name didn't show up, and then when people were talking about snubs and stuff, I almost feel like people forgot the game that Dom played. He came the closest to winning out of anybody to ever lose Survivor.
Who doesn't get unless they're planning, which fingers crossed, they are planning to do second chances in the next 5 seasons. And then isn't Dom like the best number one top of the list to like build an entire season around of Survivor Second Chance 2? So that's the only thing I hope, which is wish in one hand, shit in the other, said my grandfather Tom.
So in terms of the people that you are watching, who are you liking? Is there anybody who's surprising or you're liking more than you thought you would? Anybody you're more down on? Like, how you feeling about this?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a surprise other than like I don't find myself really rooting for any new era folks. I didn't think I would at all. But I really would say that like at this point, I would love Camila to win. She's like my favorite player out there. I loved watching her last season. So Camila is probably the biggest surprise for me just because I was like, no matter what, I just want anyone pre-40 to win. But I would love a Camila win. And then, Emily, it's so funny because I forget that she's post 40 because she just to me reads like such a 30s era player. But so those two women are probably who I'm rooting for the most out of the women. And then I guess I can't say I'm surprised by any of the guys. I was rooting for Christian going in, and I still am loving watching Christian play his game. I cannot tell edit-wise if he's the mastermind or if they're really setting him up to take a hard fall. But I knew he would show up, and he is giving us great TV. I think that's it. I mean, it's fun. The most transformation I've seen is Ozzy. Really just seems like, obviously it's been a long time since he's played. So I've enjoyed Ozzy being a very like humble, as far as I can tell, a man on the show who's like really defaulting to Siri, the best to ever do it in a way, in my opinion. So I guess Ozzy, Christian, Emily, and Camila are kind of the people I'm rooting for the most.
So then it seems like Ozzy's trying to play different. It seems like he's about to blow up in this episode because he was just left out of the vote. So did Christian and Emily, who you're rooting for here, ultimately make the right decision to vote out Mike White last week? Or do you think they should have gone a different route?
No, I think Mike White has to go. And I think the whole cast should be thankful that they took out Mike White. He essentially has a guaranteed spot in the final 3 because no one's going to give him the money. I mean, who doesn't want to sit next to the multi-millionaire who's never going to get all the votes in the end? Like, I think Mike White needed to go, and it was best for everyone's game there to get him out. What's the discourse? I have not paid attention. Is that what people are thinking?
It's been like 50-50. I feel like it was the wrong move because now you've made Ozzy so mad. And honestly, you've really left Angelina out too. So now if you're Christian, you have a 3-2. You still have a 3-2 majority, but you've kind of ostracized 2 people. I don't know if they know Ozzy has the idol or not. I forget, but like Ozzy does have an idol. So it's kind of tricky. I know also Angelina has been pretty open, and Mike and his exit press pretty open that like Mike hasn't talked to Christian since this happened. So I feel like that's kind of, it definitely felt more personal here. And because they played on David versus Goliath, because they did a lot together, I don't know. I mean, it is Survivor 50. You got to expect, I mean, we can't all be Lex being mad that we got, even though Lex was cutting people's throats left and right all season. So we'll see where this goes. I feel like it was probably safer to just boot Angelina, because then the only one who's mad is Mike. And
well, I mean, theoretically, I just have to say, I think it wasn't a great move for Christian. I think it was the best move for Emily.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I think actually Christian kind of seems to be the one who set it all up. Emily is ultimately the one who got to decide. I get the sense, and it puts her in a great spot. So it's essentially getting her next two allies who she's expressed she's wanted to work with, Ozzy and Angelina, and she's started to build those relationships. Now, the only thing would be is she was like, I wish I could tell Ozzy, right? It was kind of odd that they heard her saying, I wish I could have told Ozzy right before. So maybe it'll blow back on her more than on Christian, but I don't know. She seems to be building relationships in such a unique way. I don't know. What do you feel like? Do you feel like it was bad for Emily or just bad for Christian?
No, I feel like Emily has the easiest time coming back, because if Ozzy calls her out and says anything, she can say, I sat there and tried to tell you. That's why I was saying this. And Christian was telling me to shut up. He was doing the zipper mouth and everything. Like, he was telling me to be quiet. This is Christian's fault, Ozzy. I wanted you in on this.
Yeah.
And Christian wouldn't let me put you in on this. So I have in my rankings, and I'm not going to say any numbers here, but I do have Christian lower than Emily coming into this week, because I think that Emily is definitely in a better spot. Emily could have went home here. Now, though, it's Ozzy's mad at Christian because he's been playing with Christian. Sure, he can be mad with Emily, but he's going to feel really betrayed. And I think Angelina's going to feel really betrayed. I mean, who came out looking the best out of this? Blue Box Kirby says it right here. I think it's best for Steph. Somehow Steph comes into that episode totally on an island. Q just went home. She has no allies. Her name doesn't even come up. And now, no matter how this swings, no matter how mad people get at each other, Steph's walking back to tribal council if they go to tribal council again. Like, she's walking back to the island. She's going to be fine.
Yeah. And I get the sense that no one sees her as a threat at all of any way, shape, or form. So she's like, just in general, like a really, really low threat level. And I agree that she's in the best spot in the tribe.
Because it seems like, and I know we were talking about this a little bit before we went live here, it seems like there's going to be a double boot. Jeff says in the preview for the episode, the two tribes that lose are going to tribal council. Some people were theorizing that potentially both tribes go to tribal together, but I feel like we need to get rid of so many people still in so many episodes. It makes sense for this to be a double boot for the game to really start playing. So I'm assuming that this week is a double boot, unless somebody can prove otherwise from like the press release. That doesn't mean prove otherwise from Spoiled Survivor Reddit. That means prove otherwise from the press release. But I'm assuming it's a double boot. And if it is a double boot, that tribe with Christian, Ozzy, Emily, there is no way they win the challenge. They can finish second, but they're not finishing first. So they're going back. And I feel like that's a guarantee. And we're going to get the results of what happened last week immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I did, because this is how casual of a fan I am now. Sorry, specialists. I should have thought that there were going to be two boots. And so I just was moving my list here a little bit because of the way I had set it up, just thinking one person would go home. But considering that two different tribes, I just was reworking my list a little bit, but not much, honestly. It's just a matter of switching things around for a certain way. So cool. I think I'm all set now.
Okay. Yeah. And you keep saying you're casual. We had Joe Mena on 2 weeks ago, and he was like, I didn't watch a single season from 41 to 49. So, I'm just watching this for the first time in a long time. So what's really interesting
take though. That's a fun take to see how he feels about it.
Well, I really enjoyed it because there's a lot of people I feel like are coming back for the first time since Winners at War, because Winners at War, after having the 1.5-year break because of COVID after Winners at War, I do think some people just fell off, or they started 41 and maybe didn't like it, because 41 is its own animal and you get the hourglass and all of that stuff. And I could see people tuning out and say, I'm not watching. And now people are coming back because you are getting some of these big iconic players. And it was fun to talk to him and say, like, who is impressing you from the new era? And he was like, no, not really anybody standing out to me yet. But I feel like it's starting. I feel like, you're seeing who they want the stars of the new era to be. Q had a huge edit. He's gone. Savannah had a huge edit. She's gone. Genevieve's getting a massive edit. Like Charlie, it's very one note, but Charlie versus Rizzo, it feels like they're really trying to tell you, we want you to attach to these people because these might be the people playing 3 or 4 times somewhere down the line.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Oh, if only they could have done this with season 40 and it wouldn't have been Winners at War. I think some of us in Ghost Island would have had a different plan. It's hard to believe that I had a lot of capital with production, but at the time I think I did, and so sometimes I have to admit that I get like, if there wouldn't have done Winners at War for 40 and had been something like this, it might have been a different journey especially for Dom, 1,000% for Dom, and then like 10% for me.
Yeah, no, Dom is 100% playing if 40 was a Legends returning, whatever, just like newer all-stars, whatever you wanted to call it. He was 100% on.
I think Michael for my season, it's just like Chris Noble. I think there's a lot of men for my season and not a ton of women probably who would.
It's only you.
Yeah.
Like being completely honest. I mean, I don't want to like throw shade at the Ghost Island cast, but like Laurel has her big moment, but it's really at the expense of Dom and Wendell. And then like Libby, super under edited. Angela, super under edited. Like Chelsea, I mean, my God, Chelsea, I think has 4 confessionals the entire season, like in terms of how under edited she was. So I think really out of the women, unless they went pre-merge, I think you really would be the one that they'd go to. Do you think Ghost Island has a chance at ever getting anybody back on at this point? Or are you other than Dom? Nobody other than Dom.
I mean, maybe Michael Yerger, just because they like producers would eat that up. And he's, he was so young. He was 19 when he played. So for him to get a second chance, 10 years later or whatever, and he's almost 30, I could see Michael getting the second slot. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think anyone else.
Yeah.
At all. Not even me. I think I'm like at a 0.0000. And I really do think out of the women, I probably would have the best shot. So yeah. Anyway.
If anybody was wondering if Kellyn got called for 50, I think she just answered the question. So here we go.
I don't think anyone was wondering.
Will always talks about.
Well, of course, Will was my number one fan. Thank you.
Yeah, Will was out there, and I know you and Will have talked to each other and everything like that. But Will was out there, and Will always says he's like, Kellyn was so good. He's like, I love Kellyn on Ghost Island, and he was the one who every time we do a snubs or something, he'd always throw your name into the list. So. You still have your stands out there. Don't worry.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
I know. If you want Will to be your stand, there he is.
I do. I'll take any stand at this point.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, let's get into the ranking because we still have 19 people to rank. So we got plenty of people to rank, and we're going to give everybody their moment, unlike Survivor 50. Although I will say, and this is not meant to be shade at Tiffany, but I will say that like, the people who are so mad that like Zack Brown took time away from Tiffany, I'm like, you are all the same people who are saying you didn't want Tiffany on the season. So like, I feel like I have to like push back a little bit there. I understand the frustration, but it's like the same people who are like, Tiffany shouldn't even be there. I can't believe she got overshadowed. It's like, well, who else was going to get overshadowed on this cast? Tiffany is the biggest question mark coming into the season, and she hasn't gone to a tribal. She's just kind of chilling. It's unfortunate, but she really is.
Yeah, isn't it weird how like some of the like pre-season talk about who got the slots and stuff, like example for Tiffany, that she is getting cut out of the edit so much. It's just like sometimes we're on it as fans and then sometimes not so much. But gosh, I hope I can't tell I'll speak on Tiffany when it's her turn.
And I do feel like there are people who are looking. I mean, they announced this cast almost a year before the season aired.
Yeah.
CBS knows what the online community is most excited for. They also know what the casuals are most excited for. I think that's why Jonathan and Joe have gotten bigger edits than maybe they need, especially Jonathan hasn't gone to a tribal, but is getting some screen time. And I think that they're seeing the new era. You have a poker face like Wentworth. And I think that they're seeing what's going on with the new era and like some of the people that were excited and were not excited for with the online community. And they said, okay, if we need to omit some people from the story, if they're not going to win and they're not going to be going to tribals, here's who we should omit. I think that's why Genevieve's storyline is so massive, despite the fact that how many tribal councils has Genevieve gone to? Exactly 0.
Okay. I was like, I don't know.
You're going to have to tell me. Getting one of the biggest edits on the season because I think they saw the fan reaction.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about whether or not they if they try to listen to like what's coming out of the fans, they've got a holy, like their radio channel is making me sound old, but their radio channel has a lot of static in it because
that's what's happening.
Crossed wires.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's start it off. Who do you have as your safest person this week?
Okay. So I actually have my safest person this week as Coach.
You're never going to get a complaint from me on Coach being number one. Why do you have Coach at number one?
I have Coach at number one. One, because I think first of all, their tribe is most likely to get through, I think. And also, I just at this point cannot still seeing him as a threat of someone to win the game. So I think he has extremely low threat level. I think where he is, which this might give away some of my other rankings, but the Coach Colby Joe alliance, like because they're probably going to win the challenge and the three of them are voting together, even though it's a snooze fest. Out of those people, who's going to target Coach? Like that guy's not going to win the game. So I'm going to put Coach at a stellar job of keeping his threat level extremely low, under the radar game, and that he's on a really strong tribe. And I think he's made alliances with the people he needs to make alliances with. And I think he's on the majority. So go Coach. There's no way he's going home next week.
I love it. I have Coach high as well. I'll get to him in a sec, but I'm surprised you put Coach there, knowing your reaction to the Zack Brown situation, considering he was the one who's like sobbing, talking about Zack Brown. So I'm surprised you didn't just dock him points just for simply giving them the confessionals and the sound bites that they wanted. But
no, I really try to give a clean analysis here and leave out my personal beliefs and my personal preferences for people and really just keep it a clean strategic assessment, Phil.
I appreciate that. Hey, I was sitting here because then I'm going my number one. I'm putting Steph and Stephanie.
Oh, wow. Oh, really? Ooh, okay.
Yeah, well, here's my thing. Out of all of the old schoolers, I was probably the least excited to see her. I'm a huge Colby fan. I wasn't really excited to see Ozzy, but I don't even know if Ozzy counts as an old schooler at this point because he played season 34. So like Jenna, I was more excited. Colby, I was more excited. Steph, I'm like, we saw all three versions of Steph. Like, what more can Steph bring? And then as the season was going on, I'm like, she got into a good alliance on day one. Then the swap happened. She's going to get swap screwed, whatever. Her name not coming up last week. And now there's going to be this, shitstorm, for lack of a better term, over on that tribe. They are going to be all over each other. And no one's going to care about Steph because Steph was being left out when we're there. Ozzy can be mad at Steph all he wants. Steph's not the one who betrayed him. Christian and Emily are. Same with Angelina. So I think on this small dwindling tribe where people are getting down, we're down to 5 people. They're going to go to tribal council. They are definitely 100% going to tribal council this week. I still put Steph at number one because I never see the votes flipping on her. And if Ozzy plays his idol, he's not playing his idol to boot somebody else. Or to boot Steph. He's playing it to boot Christian or Emily, or he's not going to try to, maybe even Angelina, because he just wants Angelina out. So I'm putting Steph at number one, which I have had her at the bottom spot 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, well, that's why. Okay. Overcorrection here, Phil.
Overcorrection. Yeah.
Not to call you out, but I think maybe so. I'm not, I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's I don't feel like anybody else is really going to go with that, but I'm just sitting here. And as I was doing the ranking, I'm like, I just can't see her going home this week. I just can't see it happening.
Yeah.
So we'll see where Kellyn has her. Kellyn, who do you have at number 2?
Well, I'm a snooze fest here because I just gave away all my cards. I have Colby as second, essentially for the exact same reasons as Coach. Other than I do think that in addition to just like I think Colby's threat level is probably higher than Coach's, but I think he has done a great job of building relationships, they're showing him being malleable, don't like Rizzo, does like Rizzo. I think he's being, I think he's just playing the line of I am strong. I'm a useful person here at camp, even though people don't really care about that. But I think people feel safe and cared for in his space. And I just don't think that there's any way he's going home this week. Like when I look at that tribe, to think that they're going to be able to get the votes to get Colby out there, there's no way.
Yeah. I have Colby just a little bit lower only because he doesn't have a vote. But my next two,
I forgot that part, in all fairness.
Yeah, I mean, but even without the vote, it's still like almost impossible to see how he goes home. I mean, where were you on Colby coming into the season, and how are you feeling about Colby on the season?
I think that I feel, let's just say blah and blah.
Okay. Okay. No, I mean, that's fair. I feel
I
like
think he has a chance to win. You know, I made the
Mhm.
list of like who do I think could still win at this point, and he's definitely on the list. You know, he's just not really my kind of
Yeah, I
cup
get
of
you.
tea. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's just not who I personally like relate to or would really want. I don't have any hard feelings against him. It's just like, meh. How do you feel?
I feel like he's actually having fun this time. I feel like
Okay,
on
yeah,
Heroes versus Villains, he did not have fun, and he had a rough start with the coach thing, and then he was on the wrong side of the numbers for the majority of the game, and had James not torn his ACL, he's not making the merge. Like, I feel like Colby, though, this time, he's in it. He's feeling it, and I'm happy for him that he's having a good time, because his ending with Heroes Villains, I know a lot of people are like, we already saw him in Heroes Villains. He was a disaster, whatever. It's like he said in his last episode, whether I go home tomorrow or I win the game, this was worth it for me to come back. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, good for him, because I don't know if it was worth it for him to come back for Heroes Villains the way he kind of seemed on that season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sweet. You know, I think it's really nice family TV.
There you go. That's what they want, right?
Mhm.
Kellyn, that's
That's
all
what
they
they
want.
want.
Your cast can't get on there anymore. I've talked to you and Bradley and Dom and Wendell enough. I know that you guys can't get on there anymore. James could be on the family TV still. James doesn't insult anybody or curse or anything like that. But James, that's it. I'm assuming then at 3, you're going to have Joe.
I do have Joe. Yes, you are a mind reader. Yep, I've got Coach Colby and Joe. I think there is a chance that that Joe, I mean, out of those 3, he's the weakest link. I don't think any of them are going. That's the order that I put them in, those 3, even though I think that alliance is literally at the top. I would be shocked if next week one of those 3 guys goes home.
Yeah, I put Step at 1 and then I go Joe, Coach 2, 3. So
okay,
that's why
all right.
to
So
get
you're
Joe
sort of
out
in
there.
the same ballpark there.
And if Colby
Wait,
had
why
a
do you
vote,
think Joe is safer than Coach?
why do I think Joe is safer than Coach? Honestly, I think I thought of Joe first, and I just put Joe's name down. Like, at this point with these two, I feel like they're both so safe. Because I keep thinking about the scenario of, let's say Genevieve still had an army, right? And Colby doesn't have a vote. They still have a 4-2 advantage over Tiffany and Aubrey. So if they split the vote, it'd still be a 2-2-2. Aubrey or Tiffany go home. Whether Aubrey plays the idol, or if she does, Tiffany goes home. If she doesn't, Aubrey goes home. And who are Aubrey and Tiffany going to vote for? They're going to vote for Genevieve. So Coach and Joe, Coach Joe, whatever. The only reason I have Colby lower is because he strictly does not have a vote. And just in case somebody else loses a vote or somebody gets something, who knows? I mean, they could do a Zack Brown spearfishing. I don't like this person that went on the reward. And it just turns out Colby sat too close to him in the wrong beanbag and they spin a wheel and Colby goes home. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. But we're in agreement that those people like Joe, Coach, Colby, if Colby had a vote, he's my number 4 this week.
Yeah. So. Makes sense. I kind of forgot that he didn't have his vote. I can't keep track of all those things.
Who's your 4?
My number 4 is, I'm so happy to be saying this, is Madame Siri. I think it's impeccable the way Siri is playing this game yet again, which doesn't surprise me, and yet it does surprise me. And it's so cool to watch her play. This one may be just wishful, hopeful that she does make it to the merge for me. That's playing into this, but I just think Siri is in a great spot on that tribe. And I think there is no one who can manipulate the hell out of a little boy drama better than Siri. And so I think the fact that Rizzo and Charlie, either they're going to go at each other, they're going to pick one or the other, or Siri's going to be able to use that upheaval to get the cards to fall where she wants them to. There's nothing better than boy drama than for Siri to take advantage of it. So I think Siri's in a great spot, and I put her at number 4.
I mean, it's crazy how every season she's on, that's there. Terry versus Aris, Shane versus Terry, like those happen in Panama. Jason, Eric, Ozzy, James just having no idea how to play Survivor at that point. Like, they were all just getting duped on that season by the women, not realizing what was happening. Season 20, Tom Westman correctly calls her out and is like, we need to get rid of her. We need this to stop. And like, that was when the boys were men essentially. And then on Game Changers, I don't really remember. I just remember she didn't go to tribal early on, but then as her entire alliance went away, she stuck around. And so it's like, Siri knows how to take advantage of that. If Rizzo and Charlie want to go after each other, like I can hear the confession in my head. If Rizzo and Charlie want to fight, let them fight. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Which is just so delicious to me as a Survivor fan to see Siri still have this opportunity to keep working her magic.
Yeah, I think Siri, I wasn't stoked that Siri was coming out to play a fifth time, especially with AU versus the world and all of that. I was like, oh my God. And if she would have been the first boot, I feel like that would have really hurt everything. So like you took a shot on Siri. You could have maybe tried to create a newer legend or whatever. I mean, like that's somebody who, she's played so many times, but she's played so many times. And now that the fact that she's gotten rolling a little bit, I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I'm locked in.
She's too good. She's too good.
Yeah. Although Zack Brown got more screen time than her last week. Don't you forget
it. Well, that's the real sin,
Yeah, I just have to remind you every time, just so that it's there. In the back of your mind, I want the anger to rise as the episode goes. So by the end of this, it's like Kellyn's like throwing her laptop and stuff.
Oh, I don't drink anymore, so you probably won't get that, That's a real shame. A real shame for your ratings, Phil.
I was trying to do it a little bit later in the day, so there might be some Sunday wine going on. I didn't realize that this was the case. I regret this interview, everybody. I apologize.
Grandma's heartburn can't handle the bottle anymore.
I get it. If I have whiskey and red meat at the same time, because you're not going to drink like vodka or something. But like if I have whiskey and that, it's like have an old fashioned and a steak. I can't sleep that night. That's it.
Yeah, kids. Drink while you can. It's my
advice. seriously enjoy it. All right, my number 4, I have D.
Okay, all right.
I'm feeling super good about her spot right now. D is over on the tribe with Jonathan and Siri. And just to spoil my stuff real quick, because really I don't know how to differentiate these people, so I'm just gonna say it. D4, Jonathan 5, Siri 6. That's where I'm going here. So I'm gonna talk about all 3 of them together.
Okay.
I know that D and Jonathan are talking about potentially not being on the same side as Siri, but Rizzo and Charlie, that's the storyline there. Like that's what's going to happen. And I think D getting the really emotional content over Zack Brown last week, maybe more emotional than we ever saw D in her winning season.
Mm-hmm.
That to me means longevity for D. And I feel like she's well aligned over there. I feel like she's got good allies. I feel like people like her. You want to keep her around as a threat. Jonathan, I'm putting at 5 because Jonathan's the biggest guy. And if they do lose, I doubt they're going to vote him out because they're worried if double boots, triple boots, quadruple, but who knows? I think they're a little concerned getting rid of Jonathan. And then Siri, you've already said it. She's playing as well as you can play as somebody with a target that massive on your back. If they go to tribal this week, she will figure out how to make sure that it is Rizzo or Charlie going home, not her. And I think she'll be able to convince D and Jonathan why it's a good idea to keep her around. And just go that route.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you. I'm not that different, although it does bring in a little bit of a different twist here. But I had Siri 4, Camila 5, and D 6 because I see those 3 women working together. And then I guess Jonathan 7. Sorry if that's too many in a row, but it's sort of in the same thing.
When they all work together like that, go for it.
Camila, D, and Jonathan, because Siri, Camila, and D, I believe all 3 of them are working together. And I think they'll feel like they need to stick together because it's only the 3 women on the tribe of 4, or with 4 guys. And the fact that the guys are fighting, like, I think they're just going to be able to stick together and get one of those 4 guys to go home. And you're just like you said, I don't think those 3 women are going to take out Jonathan because that's the best shield they have for winning the challenges out through the pre-merge. I mean, it's so interesting because I feel like if it was like Colby or another strong guy, like you'd be willing to cut him, but Jonathan is just like such a massive advantage that I don't think those 3 women would cut him. So that's why I have Camila, D, and Jonathan, which then I'll give my thoughts on Camila when she comes up in your list.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I have Joe higher than Coach. I finally have a reason, right? It's like, I think that challenge and the way Vatu performed last week, I think might scare the daylights out of some of the other players. Like they voted out Q. If Jeff didn't call the challenge because 2 tribes were done, they still might be pushing that boat underneath that net. Like, Ozzy
for sure.
Spent, and they weren't even close. And I think that if you saw that happening, you look at Joe and you look at Jonathan, you say, thank God they're on my tribe, because I'm always going to have a chance to win every challenge with them. So I think that's what's really helping Joe and Jonathan. And, maybe that's by design of trying to help these more physical players who are in the newer era, maybe aren't being seen as useful on tribes, or like they don't care. They wanted this to be a more physical season. I would be shocked if Camila, D, Siri get the numbers and then turn around and say, let's get rid of Jonathan. Like, no way. No way.
They're too smart to do that, I think.
Yeah. I'm ripping through this tribe. This is the Sela tribe. Jonathan, Camila, Siri, Devins, Charlie. I'm going Devins at 7, Camila at 8, because I just feel like this has been so telegraphed as Charlie versus Rizzo that I just don't see in what world it's not one of those two going home this week. So I'm going to put Devins at 7 just because his edit has been much, much bigger and much, much better than Camila's. And so I'll go with him as safer just in case it's like, oh, a stray person got knocked out. I doubt it would be Devins. And I feel like the whole, we're hiding this at tribal and all of that, I feel like they're going to highlight that stuff because there's going to be some sort of payoff. Camila, though, I'll put at 8. This is the highest. This is the best positioning I've had her in all season. I feel like on that tribe, like, good for her. She's finally going to get some chaos that she wants. And I feel like it's going to be totally in her favor. And I agree with you. I don't see any way that Siri and D say we want to get rid of Camila. And then I feel like Jonathan's just going to be a number. And it's going to be, which one do we want to get rid of? The Riz God, or do we want to get rid of Charlie? And I think that's what this tribe is coming down to. So I have 5 of the 7 super high in my rankings in the top 8.
Okay. All right. Well, I hear you.
What did you want to say about Camila? Because you said you were going to get to her when I got there, and I got there.
No, just I was curious if for some reason you had her like further down the list. I was curious about where you thought, if you thought she had weaknesses, where those were, and to respond to those, because I just think that she is an incredible Survivor player. The best thing that could have happened to her was poor Kyle's Achilles. And it just reminds me of the twins in Blood versus Water, right? Natalie. And like when her sister went home early, and it's just like when those duos get broken up like that, and then it gets kind of, we're forgetting about it. I just think she gets to kind of she's a good enough Survivor player to take advantage of that extremely lucky break for her. No pun intended.
Yeah. It was a tear, right? So we're good. You can say the break there. But I do feel like too with Camila and with Chrissy, who I don't have much further down on my list here. In fact, I have her at 9. So Chrissy and Camila, for me, they almost fall into the same boat as Jonathan and Joe, where you look around and you say, okay, I'm glad I have Camila. I'm glad I have Chrissy, because if we get to a puzzle portion, we're going to beat that Vatu tribe every single time. Like, Christian might know the slide puzzle algorithm, but Christian isn't as quick as Chrissy and Camila at regular puzzles. So
apparently not. I know, right?
And I was concerned. So I really vastly underestimated Camila on her first season. And then I got to do an exit interview with her, and she was like, you didn't believe me. You didn't do this. And I was like, I'll never underestimate you again. And then the cast gets announced. I'm like, oh, she's getting 23rd or 24th place. Like, there's no doubt, because I just can't get out of my mind. And now I'm looking at it, and we're at final 19 with a double boot episode coming. And I got her ranked at 8th because I think people are sleeping on how good she actually is at the game of Survivor. So I'm feeling really good about Camila. Who knows like what's in store for the rest of the season, but I don't think she's bottom. I mean, I have her as the 3rd most likely, air quotes, to go home from that tribe, but like I have her at 8. That's how confident I am in her positioning on that tribe. I think she's golden right now.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't see the magic of Camila all of last season. I've been rooting for her. I don't know her. I've never spoken to her or met her, but I feel like she is a masterful Survivor player. So it would make sense to me if she pulls this thing out in the end.
Yeah, you and Camila would get along very well.
I'll take that as the highest compliment.
Yeah, you and Camila would absolutely hit it off. Camila's great, and I feel like the way she's playing this season, I feel like I'm going to get like another middle finger at the end of the season where it's like,
you deserve it.
She's gonna be like, you underestimated me again. How'd that work for you? And I deserve it. I do. So I'm a little bit ahead of you here. So who's your 8 and who's your 9?
Okay, so nothing going out of my 8. I also have Chrissy, because I do think that she and Coach have a relationship. And even though it was like, and this is a little bit inside baseball, not from me, but like from Chrissy posting on her social, like Coach was telling me in a kind way. And she, even though some people were up in arms about the way he did it, I think Chrissy really appreciated that. And I think that Coach Colby and Joe would want to protect Chrissy. And so I think with all three of those guys, I think she could work with any of them, and all three of them will take her with them. So that's why I have Chrissy as 8.
Yeah, I feel like Chrissy's gotten a little bit of a raw deal in the edit, but when she got the redemption immediately after, I said, okay, she's good. Like she's,
oh God, it's just heartbreaking. That's where I probably cried the most, is watching Chrissy's story. She's been through a lot. Anyone who hasn't listened to my Road to Reality episode with Chrissy, it's one of my favorite ones. It's the first one of the first season, and she's just an incredible person. And anytime that you watch people go out there and feel like they aren't liked is just heart-wrenching to me. So I don't know that she's getting a winner's edit. I don't know that she has a long tail in the game, but I think on this tribe, I think that she's going to be through just fine.
How many episodes of Road to Reality do you have now?
I did 2 seasons of like, I don't know, 8 to 10 episodes a piece. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I should know that number, but 18 to 20, but they're all evergreen. Like if you go listen to Chrissy's episode now, it's just as relevant today as it would have been before. So yeah, I highly recommend it.
Right?
It's on RHAP. Yep. Road to Reality, where I talk to survivors kind of about their whole life, the before, during, after of Survivor, and sort of the catalysts that happened from being on the show. So yeah, if you haven't listened to it, I think Survivor fans do really like it.
Cool. There you go, everybody. RHAP. That's the only plug Rob ever gets from us. Okay. It's because of Kellyn.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for letting me cross-reference.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Rob needs the attention from us. That's what it was.
Well, I think it's a long. I haven't done a season. I took this whole season off because it was off-season content, and there was so much stuff going on with season 50, and things have been busy for me. I was like, I am going to take some time off, but there's maybe a chance of it. I have people asking me every once in a while. I have a few people who have asked to be on the show, survivors who want to be on, and so it might make a comeback.
There you go. I love that. Yeah, we did 83 episodes before episode 1 of this season about Survivor 50. So yeah,
Whoa.
I totally understand what you're saying there. Like too much going on, but yeah, hopefully it makes a comeback. And that's what people always like. Like, you know, we got our big following because a lot had to do with your cast and season 33 and season 37 of just getting so many exit interviews. People love to hear the stories of what the players are doing and what's going on. And that's great. So,
yeah.
Road to Reality.
Road to Reality. Everyone hates the name, but and Rob told me it was a bad name, and I was like, I don't care. That's the name I want, and I should have listened to him. So, alas, here we go.
What was his idea?
I don't know. He didn't have another one. That's the thing. If there would have been another idea, then maybe we would have gone a different direction.
Maybe you should have put the 2. You know, it had to be Road to Reality, and it wouldn't have made sense, but it should have been the 2. That's what it should have been.
That was it. Okay, thanks.
That's where you dropped the ball. Yeah,
Road to Reality 2 when it comes back.
Yeah, it's like Too Fast, Too Furious, you know, just keep on putting 2s in there. It'll make sense eventually.
Okay, on to my number 9, which is someone we haven't talked about yet. Are you caught up?
I'm good. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, is Aubrey. And I just think I'm going to keep this short and simple. She hasn't built enough relationships and has not done a good enough job playing Survivor to do anything but play her idol. And so she's going to play her idol, and she won't go home this week.
So I'm going to finish up with people you've already mentioned. I have Colby at 10. I have Aubrey at 11. So I have Aubrey really close to where you have Aubrey, because I feel like Aubrey right now, exactly what you just said. She has to play her idol. She got duped in Edge of Extinction. She didn't play her idol. She went home. That's been living with her for years. Kelly Wentworth on the podcast last week. Kelly's like, I don't see her going home with the idol. I don't see her going home with the idol. If she doesn't play that idol, that's the only reason I have her at 11 is because she's still going to get votes. What we don't know that there's not like a Jimmy Fallon idol canceller.
Wow,
you know, we don't,
fair.
You know, or the we want Genevieve to go further, you know, boomerang. So it's like, hey, Aubrey, you're out with the idol. Give it to Genevieve. Like, who knows what's going to happen here? So I'm putting her at 11. I still feel confident in her. After her is where I start to drop off because she has the idol. And Colby, I've already said with the no vote. That's why I put him down at 10, just because, you're on a 7-person tribe, having no vote, who knows? So, but I'm feeling good about Aubrey too. I mean, I'd had Aubrey pretty low, but at this point coming into this episode, this story is Genevieve versus Aubrey, just like it's Charlie versus Rizzo. I also don't think this tribe is going to lose, though. I really don't. This is okay. This is the one.
I've got it. Yes. Sorry. Yes, I hear you there.
Like they could, because
just why I paused is I'm like, it kind of makes the end of my rankings. No, see, I think the Jonathan tribe's not going to lose. I think this tribe might lose.
I just feel like, you know what? I would agree with you if the preview the next time on and like the preview weren't so heavy on Rizzo versus Charlie, Rizzo versus.
Yeah, that's fair. That's probably got to come to fruition. I probably screwed up my rankings on like, I feel like I'm good about the tribes, like how they're going to falter out, but I don't know. You're right. If this tribe gets saved, but anyway, we'll see.
It's all good. I mean, look, your ranking is very similar to mine. So how wrong can you be?
Right. Of course.
Perfection is what I'm getting.
Okay. So 10 is someone you've already talked about for me. I had Stephanie at 10, similar to you. But I think that tribe is for sure going. And so that's why I put all the other people before Stephanie. And I do think that she is in the best, like, what about Stephanie? She's a number with all of this crossfiring. I think everyone, whichever direction who we think is going to come into control, they're going to pull in Stephanie as their number. So I think she's in the best position as well on that tribe.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, you're just going with that tribe's going, so let's put them lower, but we're both in agreement. Stephanie's coming. If Stephanie goes home this week, it would be, where was that story? Like, what just happened? Because that doesn't feel right at all right now.
That whole thing is gonna come into play here a little bit about how we finish out our lists. Where's that story coming from?
That's true.
Okay, and so who do you have at 10?
I had Colby at 10, Aubrey at 11. So we're caught up there. So you're up to 11 on your end.
Okay. Well, this is where I'm going to put all of my eggs in one basket, because I am choosing that Emily is coming out the strongest. And so I have Emily at 11. I think it has shown her build this relationship with Ozzy. It showed her like break her relationship with Christian, but be able to fix it. I think she's going to be able to pull through and fix it with Ozzy. I think that they showed Emily and Angelina having that hug on the log, and Emily really, really, really bought Angel. I mean, I don't know that Angelina want to work with Emily for forever, her best friend, but she certainly wants to work with her over Christian. Angelina is going to be pissed at Christian, and because he voted out her buddy. And so I think Emily has Stephanie, I think she has Angelina, and I think she has Ozzy. And I think that puts me at my 11, 12, and 13, which is Emily saves Angelina and Ozzy, 11, 12, 13.
Wow. So you think that Emily is going to go from I'm with Christian, me and Christian are playing together. They pull this massive blindside, and then she's going to turn around and boot Christian right after.
I think so. That's my bet. I put on that tribe, Christian has put himself in the worst spot. So he doesn't have any votes or he doesn't have any special things in his bag, right?
No,
I think that Angelina is going to be in a fury, and I don't think Christian has enough pull with Ozzy.
And I will say this, about time Angelina is going to be in a fury. I want to see Angelina again. Where is my Angelina from David versus Goliath? I'm ready to see Angelina. She's grown and matured. We don't have time for that on Survivor. We need youthfulness and anger and whatever she had in that first season, because that was the gold. No, but I mean, I could see that for sure. I don't know what Emily's going to do, because so far I feel like Emily has done everything that I wouldn't do. Whether it, tell people every secret, make this vote, make that, like Emily so far has played that game of like, if you're trying to play poker against somebody, you can know everything about poker. You can know everything that would happen and how you would react in that situation. But if you're playing with somebody who's so unpredictable, there's nothing you can do. And Emily right now she's the chaos on the island. Yeah.
And I think controlled chaos. She is a super smart person. I think there's a little bit of, I'm emotional, even though she is not. Like, she is not I go and spill the beans. I would bet big money that she knew exactly what she was doing. She just does not come across as somebody who, like, there are people who do emotional, crazy things that do not make sense on Survivor. And there are people who can do emotional, crazy things because they know exactly what they're doing. And I put Emily Flippin in that bucket.
Yeah,
I could be completely wrong, and I might be eating my words, and Christian prevails, and he's able to pull an Aussie and somehow mend things with Angelina. But I think Christian might be toast. So Emily, I believe, is in charge here.
Well, I have Emily at 12, so I'm not far off with you on Emily at all.
All right. I thought maybe you were going to go the complete different direction.
No, and then I have Ozzy at 13 because Ozzy has the idol, and these Billie Eilish boomerang idols can't be played for somebody else. See, guys, I've learned. There you go, chat. I'm paying attention. I'm finally getting it. So because these idols can't be played for somebody else, if Ozzy feels totally screwed by this tribe, he's going to play his idol. He can't play it for anybody else. That takes the drama out of could Ozzy try to use it to save anybody else. So Ozzy's going to be safe. But I also worry, we've seen Ozzy get voted out with an idol in his pocket in Survivor before. Could he hold on to that idol too long? So I think that ultimately what Emily's going to do is Emily's going to go with Christian and Steph, and they're going to try to bring Ozzy in and make it a unanimous vote against Angelina. Now, Emily could, because of the moment she had with Angelina, try to go Angelina, Steph, and Ozzy. But I don't know if Ozzy's going to feel any better with Emily than he does with Christian. And I don't know if Stephanie... The Stephanie of it all is what makes it interesting, because who is Stephanie going to feel saved her here? Who is Stephanie going to feel brought her in, Christian or Emily?
Yeah, I can't tell. What conversations did we see her having with who pulled her in for this vote? I don't remember.
I don't either.
Okay. Anyone in chat?
Yeah, help us. Because I feel like whoever pulled Stephanie in, that's who she will feel loyal to. And if that's Christian, that means it's Stephanie, Christian, and probably Ozzy.
Does it say?
That was just saying Ozzy won't work with Angelina, which could be true because he was saying this whole episode, it must be Angelina. It must be Angelina. If they keep losing, he's going to want to dump Angelina.
Yeah. And he does have the idol, and maybe Christian and Emily both feel a little gun shy from how crazy the last one went. And they're going to be willing to work together through and through. In that case, that does toast Angelina, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Are you thinking about pulling an Emily and flipping, or are you thinking
no,
you're going to stay?
I'm still going to say that I think that Christian is in more trouble than Angelina, because I believe in Miss Flippin.
There you go. Okay. There we go.
The only way Christian stays over Angelina is if Emily wants him to.
Yes. I think Emily will ultimately be the one making the decision of who goes home in this episode.
Yes.
I think that Christian voting out Mike White says to Emily, okay, Christian is willing to get rid of previous relationships to play the game with me. And so I think she will stick. Honestly, if you're Emily, you probably feel like you can beat Stephanie and Christian at this point. Christian's going to piss everybody off, and Stephanie's just playing old school Survivor. She's just surviving.
You think Emily thinks she doesn't have to watch her back with Christian after watching him do that to Angelina and Mike White?
I think it might actually show in some weird Survivor way. It might show that he's actually so loyal and committed.
Totally
because
fair.
He's willing to dump 7 years of relationships for this. I mean, I know him and Emily are friends in real life. So, I mean, maybe this really was a signal.
I didn't know if that was like a thing.
Well, that's what somebody had posted. I think it was somebody on Instagram I had seen where it was like, this is what the problem is right now. They're not telling us what the pregame alliances were, which, like, Winners at War, they very much told us who's doing this. Poker Alliance gets mentioned, all that. Emily and Christian are friends. And if you can't figure out the pieces here of why they're so close, it's because you don't know that. And the show doesn't really know how to edit that because they want it to be something on island, but it's not happening naturally on island. It happened before the game started.
Yeah. Yeah. And fair enough. That's why it's hard to talk about, because I know that Emily and Christian know each other in real life. I don't know the extent of their relationship, but I do know that they have a relationship. So that is where it's like, which is which direction is this going to go? If Emily and Christian are going to use their outside of the game relationship here, and they like went into it saying, we're going to pretend like we don't know each other and we're going to run this game together, and all of this other stuff is just great TV. Well, then Stephanie would be in trouble, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
number one.
Right. So that really flips it all up on the other side, because if that is the case and Christian and Emily are actually deciding together who is best for their game to go home, I think it would be Ozzy, but Ozzy has the idol. And so they would take out Stephanie because they wouldn't cut Angelina here, I don't think. But maybe they would. But I don't know.
Yeah, I have Angelina about as low as you can go. So that's where my mind is. I have Steph at 1 and I have Angelina very low.
Okay. All right. Well, we could talk about it all day. We won't find out for 3 more days. This is why we love Survivor, folks.
I also worry that if Angelina comes back being like, Christian, I can't believe you did that, and she's really mad at him, maybe they can't mend that relationship to the point where they work together.
I don't think there's that is, for me, from like a Survivor standpoint, I don't see them being able to mend. And just from what we know, like I can only imagine if it's like me and Dom and Wendell, and then like Wendell has voted out Dom, and I'm like, what? Like, I cannot trust you. Like, even if I wanted to work with Wendell more than Dom or whatever, like, there is just, I wouldn't be able to believe anything that anyone from Ghost Island said if they made any move without filling me in first. I just don't think there's any way you can move past that. So Angelina and Christian are, I think, done for forever in the game of Survivor.
I think you're right. I really do. I think that you are probably right.
Yeah, that's a sin that you can't come back from, I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So
we both had Ozzy at 13. So
okay, there we go.
Finally in agreement.
Okay, now I have Devins at 14. I do think why I have him this low is that in the boy drama, if Dee, Camila, and Siri decide they actually want the most strategic guy out and they can handle Rizzo and Charlie, we know they're going to keep Jonathan. That does leave Devins out to dry. Mm-hmm. So that is why I have Devins in a kind of risky position, unless I'm forgetting some advantage that he has.
No, I don't think he has anything.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything. I think the biggest thing for Devins is just that, like, he's not the biggest guy like Jonathan, right? He's not the most strategic. He's not great at puzzles, whatever. So, like, you have to want to keep him because of his social game and just because you like him more or something. It will come down for me how much of Charlie and Rizzo is real and how much of it isn't. But I could see Devins going here. I really hope it doesn't happen, but I could see it happening for sure.
Yeah, to me, he's the next collateral damage for sure. Like, if it's not going to be Rizzo or Charlie, out of everyone there, it's going to be Devins. So that's why he got my 14th spot.
Okay. Yeah, I have Rizzo at 14 because he has the idol.
Okay.
And so I'm putting Charlie as the one going home. Now, the reason, though, Rizzo has an idol, you would think, okay, if he knows it's coming, put him higher. He might not know it's coming. And we also just watched all of 49 where Rizzo never played his idol and bluffed. Ceri's rolling her eyes at Rizzo as a person. I don't know how the women other than Siri feel about him. I don't know really how the guys feel about him. I don't know what's going to happen with Rizzo, but I feel like he will play the idol with this group of people. Now, the biggest fear is, can Siri convince him not to play an idol because Siri is simply that good at Survivor, which is something we've seen, which is why he is at 14 out of 19. Like, I'm still worried for Rizzo, but he has the idol. So how could I not take him?
And they know he has the idol, or they don't know?
They don't.
They don't know.
No.
Okay.
Unless he told them off camera, but we have not seen him tell anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think that they knew he had it, but then I lose track of that stuff. So, yeah.
So I'm going Rizzo at 14. Who do you have at 15?
I have Christian at 15 because of previous conversation.
Yep. I also have Christian at 15. I feel like Christian probably comes out of this, but I think when we look back on this season, he lost the game at final 20 of Survivor 50. Like, he overplayed his hand, and whether it was the right thing, wrong thing, whether it was a lose-lose, no matter what, I feel like he overplayed, and I think Christian lost the game at final 20.
Yeah. He's such great TV. I love it. I love the Christian show. I could watch him every season. So it does make me sad, but I think he did overplay as well.
I feel like the thing with Christian right now too is like we've seen a lot of him through these first 4 episodes. He's gone to every tribal council, so you're going to see a lot of him. And also, if you're really trying to push and say I hate Christian, I can't stand Christian, it's like what? Like, he's so entertaining, and even if you don't like him, you're feeling something for him. That's what Survivor's all about. Like the main characters are going to be people you either love or you love to hate or you can't stand, whatever. If like the editors aren't doing a poor job of editing the season because Christian's dominating. He's going to every tribal. He's been decisive in every tribal. He's the one who's making all of the decisions, and he gives great content. So if you're like hating on Christian just to hate on Christian, like that doesn't put
Who's
you
hating on Christian?
You know how X is, Kellyn. You know how all that stuff is. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah, you know how it goes. I just, I feel like you're hating to hate, and that's just silly.
Well, I can see how it does seem like a lot, but I think it's entertaining. So
yeah. Twitter says Blue Box Kirby. Who do you have at 16?
So I have Rizzo at 16. I think, and then Charlie at 17.
Okay.
Because Rizzo, because of his idol. Also, I fear for Charlie a little bit with these like haunting edits. I fear a little bit that Siri and Dee would latch on to thinking that they can control Rizzo. And I don't think they see Charlie as someone that they can control. And so I do think that Rizzo gets kept over Charlie and doesn't have to play his idol. So that puts well, unless they like get Rizzo to flush his idol, but they don't know he has it. So blah, blah, blah. He might screw up. All in all, I think Siri and Dee and Camila will see Rizzo as someone that they can use and Charlie as an individual threat.
So obviously they don't know Rizzo's game. Everybody watched Charlie. Controversial loss. A lot of people talk about should have been him, should have been Kenzie. So people might be viewing him as almost a winner, right? Like the same way if Dom played, they'd almost view him as a winner going out there, even though he's not a winner. So you're viewing that as a threat. A lot of people said that they would be really threatened by the people they didn't know. But I do think you might be right at this point. They're saying, okay, Rizzo's a character. Rizzo's not a player. And they don't know that Rizzo is a player, but they're probably assuming this guy's a character. Like he's saying all this ridiculous stuff.
Right? Yeah. I mean, they're all like Riz God, like what? Like we've had time to warm up to that. Yeah. We've all done the Colby arc of like, what the hell? And then like, wait, actually that's funny and it's sweet and endearing. And so they're just on that ride, but in no way on that ride of like, what is this guy? It comes out in the end, exactly like you said, the laundry comes out that he is there to entertain people and to be a character, not to be a strategic threat to win. I think the girls can suss that out. And I think that puts Charlie as the almost winner.
Yeah.
Has to go.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he becomes more threatening. And then if Rizzo can get through another tribal council without playing his idol, I mean, somebody needs to start voting for this kid because he can't just keep getting away with it. He just keeps getting away with it.
Who would have thought that Siri and Rizzo would be the ones who keep getting away with it?
I'm telling you, like Siri and Rizzo sitting at final 3, just arguing with each other, being like, no, I played the better getting away with the game. No, I did. Like,
it won't happen, but I would love that so much.
Yeah. And Siri would win 10-0, by the way, if anybody was wondering. Sorry, Rizzo. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's a landslide. I'm going to knock mine out so I can give you like the final say here, but I'm going to say Tiffany 16, Genevieve 17.
Okay.
So 16 for Tiff, because I think that Tiff, if they do a 2-2-2 vote, Aubrey has to play her idol for herself. Tiffany goes home as the ally of Aubrey. Her edit's been atrocious. Like Tiffany, unfortunately, at this point is expendable. They could dump her out and it would just be like, well, who got the invisible edit? The person people were shocked was on the season. I think she'll probably survive, which is why I have her at 16, but still 17, I have Genevieve. So I'm into Genevieve, Charlie, Angelina. That's how I end it. One from each tribe. I just think Genevieve's tribe is least likely to go to tribal. So I think Genevieve will survive this. But if they go, I think the most likely scenario is not a 2-2-2 split. It is 4-2 on Aubrey. Aubrey plays her idol. Genevieve goes home. But I think ultimately Charlie and Angelina are the two people going home this week. I think Angelina is going to be so mad about what happened. I think she then becomes an easy boot. It becomes one of those things where Ozzy gets his way. Christian says she'll never work with me again. This brings Ozzy back into the fold. Maybe Emily gets annoyed by it, but ultimately I think Steph will go with it too. Steph's not going to be one of the people who's like, let's do an all women's alliance. That ain't happening.
No.
And so I feel like Angelina's toast. And then everything you said about Charlie is why I think Charlie is going to go home. So who are your bottom two people, 18 and 19, in this double boot episode?
Yeah, so I have, and I should have split them up a little bit differently here. Like to make my bottom three should have been Christian, Genevieve, and Charlie, like one from each of the tribes, but I did that wrong. So I had Tiffany as 18 and Genevieve as 19, because of everything that I said, that the strongest alliance that I see here is Coach, Colby, Joe, and Chrissy, which means those four folks are voting together. Aubrey has not been playing good Survivor, so she's going to have to play her idol. That leaves only Tiffany and Genevieve. And the only reason why I'm not saying Tiffany is because I remember at the beginning of this episode here, you said, oh, well, how are they going to tell that story? Like all of a sudden X is going to go home. And that's how I feel about Tiffany. I think while maybe she's not getting the grandest edit, I don't see them taking Tiffany from nothing to getting booted. And so this is a purely edit thing. I also think that in the scene where they showed Genevieve going around and saying the same thing over and over again is an exact callback to Aubrey going around on Edge of Extinction, going around and repeating herself and saying the same thing. And that was like Aubrey's biggest downfall. And so I think because Aubrey has the idol, Genevieve being shown as the one who's making the same mistake that Aubrey made the last time she played, I think that puts Genevieve in a really tough spot to get out of here.
I don't think I've heard anybody make that comment. And I know I haven't made that comment about this is the exact same mistake that Aubrey was making. And
yep, the exact same edit. If you go back and watch it, I think it was Edge of Extinction, right? Yeah. I get my seasons mixed up. But remember when during one of Aubrey's many flail outs where they showed her kind of with the dodo music saying the same thing over and over again? I forget what the pitch was. Like, I just want to work to da-da-da-da-da. Like she was doing, and then she got called out for saying that exact same thing. And that was her downfall. I think this is a callback editing wise. And now Genevieve is the one making the mistake. And this time Aubrey is in a better position. Although I would argue that Genevieve has definitely been playing better Survivor than Aubrey this season. So it sucks. This is why I would prefer a game with no idols, frankly, because here I think in a rare case, Genevieve has been playing better Survivor than Aubrey, but Genevieve or Tiffany are going to be the ones to take the hit. And I think because of that edit, it's going to be Genevieve. And we haven't had enough time with Tiffany yet. So that's why I have those two last. Now you're right. I think that tribe is pretty strong, but not as strong as Jonathan's tribe. So I think I'll stand on this final call out that it will be Tiffany or Genevieve there. And then Charlie and Christian are in the most trouble on the other tribes.
Yeah. And looking at this Genevieve edit and what you're saying, again, this goes back to when you're waking up on Monday morning and you're saying, I get to watch Survivor Wednesday. That type of editing, like if they're thinking about that as they're putting this together, that's the kind of Easter eggs and fun that we want to be having with Survivor 50. So I appreciate that big time. And I'm glad you opened my eyes to that because I had not noticed that. I forgot kind of Edge of Extinction, what Aubrey was doing. I just remember the whole season was edited. Like that whole episode was her perspective. That would be awesome if that's ultimately what it was for Aubrey to get her redemption. And that was kind of their way of showing it. But if the players are smart, which these are good players. I mean, Chrissy losing finalist, Colby losing finalist, Coach losing finalist. Like these people have played a lot of Survivor. If they're smart, they do a 2-2-2 whatever, 2-2-2 vote. And Tiffany ends up being the one who just unfortunately goes. But yeah, based on this edit, if Tiffany went out in this episode with like 5 confessionals total, that would just be a nightmare.
Yeah, I think if Tiffany had, this is maybe too inside baseball, but it's like if Tiffany had like one more confessional going into tonight, then maybe, but it's just, or not tonight, into Wednesday, but it's like, God, it's just too little for her to not make it through and to get more airtime, unless it just got lost down to the Zack Brown Zack Brown hole. But yeah, I also just think Genevieve is even comes across as more of a threat big time than, and think of their recency bias, right? They're going to all see Genevieve as a bigger threat than Tiffany anyway. So they probably would want Genevieve out over Tiffany here.
Yeah. I mean, I could absolutely see that because right now, Tiffany, people are looking at, she got voted with an idol in her pocket. She finished 8th place. Maybe they're surprised to see her as surprised as we were. With Genevieve, it's like, she's one of the freshest people in their minds when they're going out there on the island. I mean, they just watched what she was able to do with really no advantages.
Yeah, it's really tough spot for those folks who just played to be in the front of mind. And so I think it just raises her threat level so much more than Tiffany's.
Yeah, I agree with that. Before I let you go on this then, because we've now done our ranking, who do you think wins the season?
You know,
you don't have a favorite to go with. Like I had Mitch, he went with Joe. I had Sophie, she actually went with Devins, but then I had Wentworth. Of course, she's talking about Aubrey. So, you know, you don't
that's
have
definitely not my pick. I can tell you that. Yeah. I will say that, like, who do I want to win or who do I think is going to win?
Do both.
Who do I deeply want to win? I do not know why I'm such an Emily Flippin fan. I just would love to. I just think that that is such a cool arc. I love the way she plays Survivor in this chaotic way. I don't know. That's just what I'm like rooting for. And it seems like an extremely long shot. Who I think is going to win? Angelina.
No way. Really? Are you just like in on the growth of Angelina as a person?
It's weird that they're like giving this like, I'm just playing it differently now. I think on any season of Survivor, the winner always plays the pre-merge under the radar. Always. If you are a person watching this show, get through. This is advice I have given to people who have won Survivor since I played, which is be the dry paint on a rock for the pre-merge. Get your ass through and then start playing Survivor. Nobody gives a shit on the jury how you played during the pre-jury. So do not risk anything. Do not put yourself out there. I think Angelina, Mike just got cut. Her and Christian are broken. She is getting the, Kyle leaves Camila. Now, if Mike and Christian both go, that lets Angelina go. And she is absolutely smart enough to win this game and absolutely has a winner story. So my prediction, and I have not been spoiled on anything this season at all. In fact, I don't listen to podcasts or exit interviews because I don't want to be spoiled. Yeah. My prediction is that Angelina wins. I think which is great. I like Angelina a lot and I'd be extremely happy for her. I just love Emily Flippin.
It's funny. I mean, I'm sitting here with Angelina in my last spot saying, I think she's the easy boot. She's this, that. But this is one of those pivotal moments, right? Like if she survives this episode, she's set up for the long run. Yeah. And I always talk about that with JT and Game Changers and JT and Heroes vs. Villains, because he's one of the ones that people like to go at the most about. He didn't do this, he didn't do that. If he survives without playing his idol in Game Changers, JT is cruising in that game because that was the one vote he had to get through without having to play his idol. If Russell actually ends up not being a psycho and is just a normal villain like they thought he was, he probably joins them. And now JT is sitting in final 3 pitching his case to win the game again against other winners. This might be that moment for Angelina. Now, it didn't work out for JT either time, but this might be that moment for Angelina because what I've seen from Angelina, I keep saying, she's not bringing this, she's not doing this, she's not doing this. She is not David versus Goliath Angelina at all. And that's bad for my TV because I was excited for Dave versus Goliath Angelina, but that's good for Angelina because Angelina is not that person anymore. And you can see that very easily. So
when you look at the list of women who are playing other than, and like, I wouldn't even say other than D, because when you're a winner, that it makes you less of a threat in a game like this. I think in the pre-game, Angelina was one of the people who we saw as the highest threat, and we have forgotten about her. And I think that puts her in an immaculate place if she gets through here, and I think she's going to because of Emily. I think that Angelina is gonna just rip through the post-merge, honestly. I don't know why. That is complete. I'm making this up. I know nothing, Jon Snow, but that's just really where I think it's gonna go. So. But I'm so excited because I feel like of the people who have a chance to come out the winners, we've got Camila who could do it. Angelina who could do it. And I think Aubrey has a chance potentially if she can turn this around. Although to me, it looks like a lot of really, really bad Survivor on her case. But there are still a lot of women here who could pull it out, which I would love to see a woman win season 50 of Survivor. So
would that make it? And then that would make it so that it was still 4 women then on all the all returning seasons, because All Stars, Amber, Heroes Villains was Sandra, Game Changers, Sarah, and then Tony and Jeremy both. So that would make it 4-2 in favor of the women on all returning player seasons.
Yeah, I mean, what guys do you think still have a chance to come out the winner? Well, who do you think is going to win?
God, I was all in on Christian until last week. I think he messed up big time last week. I have been pretty much saying this to everybody. What I'm loving about this season is because it's the first time I remember watching them edit 24 people. I don't know what their normal ticks are with this. Like when I watch an 18-person season, especially in the new era, I can sit there and say, okay, I've seen this before. Like I know that it's Kyle or Camila at this point.
Well, yeah, you could tell between the two of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew Genevieve wasn't going to win just because they gave her a 0 confessional episode, which is not something they've done since Erica. And I'm like, so this is going to be Rachel. Like Rachel was getting great content in the pre-merge when her closest ally is getting voted out of the game. So I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, she was really left out of the votes at the pre-merge.
She was
She
was. But then I look at this and I say, I don't know what they're doing with 24. I don't know what they're doing in terms of big personalities going out early, like Q, like Mike White. I also don't know because we have Zack Brown taking up a 20-minute segment. Like, what does that
mean? We might know a little bit more about what's going on at the beach without that.
So what do I know? So for me, I would say I could see in terms of the men winning, and I'm just going to say who has a chance. I think that Rizzo has a chance. I think Christian still has a chance, but
I think Rizzo has a chance. I'm sorry to poo-poo on that, but they see him as like a goon.
I think the thing is, though, we see this a lot in Survivor, especially in these returning player seasons. The person who's underestimated, if they can get to the end and convince you why you underestimated them, it becomes easier to get the votes than the person who people really valued at a high level. Think about Jeremy Collins versus Spencer, right? Everybody thought Spencer was this amazing Survivor player coming out of Cagayan. And then he sits down at the final tribal against Jeremy and just gets smoked because they were overestimating him. So he let them down.
Well, because of the likability factor.
Well, right? That helps too.
I always see winners as the choice of who do people actually like, because that's who is going to win. Rizzo. And Rizzo has they see him as a bumbling kid, I think. But maybe
I could see the Colbster winning. I could see the
Colby winning. Colby still has winning edit going. Oddly enough, Charlie, I know I have him down because of where he is now. I actually think Charlie could win, like from an editing perspective, and like if things turn around for him, I think Charlie has not ruled himself out as a potential winner.
He's in the Angelina spot for the men, where it's like if he can survive this, he's golden.
Yeah.
But is he making a mistake of like just wanting to go after Rizzo, which like you're saying, nobody really wants to protect Rizzo, but maybe they don't even need to protect Rizzo. Maybe they just see Charlie as a bigger threat. But if Charlie can get through this, like Charlie gets to the merge, Charlie's unassuming. Charlie could just cruise.
Yeah. It's never good to be in drama. No. Survivor. Really.
No, but I don't think Ozzy wins. I thought Jonathan for a second because his edit was just so big for no reason, but now I doubt it. Maybe Joe gets a redemption at some point, but I doubt it. Coach is playing same old coach. Devins was my preseason winner pick, so I'll still say he has a chance, even though I think it's a slim one at this point. So really, out of the men, Colby has the best chance.
I would agree with that. I would say Colby and then Charlie, if he gets through. Those are probably the two men at the top. Devins is like, I don't know. I cannot quite get a handle on his. I don't know if it's because of his like newscaster thing that I just keep seeing him like come out of the game and be like a performer a little bit, that it's it's making it really hard for me to like see how he's playing the game, seeing the game. Like it's almost as if like he's there to play a TV show instead of there, not like in shade. I like Devins a lot and he's like a great, anytime I've interacted with him, I adore him, but just at least the way he's come across in his confessionals, it's very performative. And so I'm having a hard time reading his energy and like plans and actual strategy. Like, can he get grounded enough in this actual game that's in front of him instead of like, I'm playing Survivor and what's the weather today? Maybe he has a chance, but I can't. He needs to, you know, if I could go back in time right now, I'd whisper in Devin's ear, like, do some breathing exercises, return to yourself, return to the fact that this is $1 million on the line. That would be my posthumous. Is that right? The right word? Advice? I think that's
posthumous is when he's dead.
Well.
Yeah. But I get where you're coming from with that because he was my preseason winner pick because I felt like, you know, he made a deep run, but he also got voted out early. It was because of a twist, because of an idol, because of a lot of idols, like all of this different stuff. So I thought, okay, he has a chance, but he came out hot. And him and Christian both came out hot. I think that's from going to tribal councils early. You come in hot. And I feel like some of these other people, I need to see, I think we had figured it out last week. There are, I think, something like 15 of the 19 people left. No, it can't be that many. How many people are left on that? 5, 6. I think it's like 12 of the 19 or 11 of the 19 haven't gone to tribal yet. So I don't know them yet, you know, like we're far into the season, but we're really not. So there could be a winner over there. Like Chrissy could be the winner of the season. We have no idea because she hasn't gone to a tribal. Maybe Coach is the winner of the season and they're just trying to like slow play Coach. I know Kellyn's about to have her eyes pop out of her head, but maybe, who knows? I just feel like it's so hard right now because it's been the same people going to tribal week after week after week. And now with Angelina and Steph being left, but Q and Mike White being gone, like there's the 3 people, Ozzy, Emily, and Christian have gone to every tribal council. So they're going to get big edits. Steph and Angelina have now gone to 2 tribal councils. And then the only other people who have gone to tribal councils that are still left in the game are Devins, Joe, and Siri.
Which I always think too, and this is that the people who don't have to go to tribal, I would love to see the stats, any statistician here of like, on average, the winner goes to less tribals pre-tribal than even the people who made it to the merge who had been going to tribals, if that makes sense. Like the average amount of time that people go to pre-merge tribals, if you're on the season, like the winner would go to, now Rachel would break that probably, but it's just like, if you don't have to make enemies and you don't have to make moves and you get to just really lay low, even if you weren't integral to the vote, I always think that, you know, those people have a huge advantage going into the post-merge. They just haven't made enemies yet. And even though the pre-merge doesn't vote, you still were playing with other people who were there with you. And so I think it's such a huge, huge advantage going into the pre-merge, not having been in tribal, but because of the bigger season, which I like, by the way, it gives us more options for people to make it to the post-merge who haven't even been to the tribal yet. So there's still so much Survivor left this season. Like we're very early in the game. In some ways it doesn't feel like that because there's been so many stories. We already came in knowing people. So we really get to feel like we have the dynamics down, which is fun. It's so fun. Like when they did the tribe swap, my mom, Karen, love her, casual fan. She was like, it was so fun for this swap because they already knew each other. So then we already knew how they knew each other. And that gave it like instant, we could see the new bonds. And so I think that's going to happen again at the merge. And I think we have a lot of really, really good Survivor left for this season.
I agree. Hey, we still have to eliminate 16 people before we get to final 3. We're episode 5 power rankings right now. We have to eliminate 16 people. So we got a lot left, a lot of game, and I'm excited about it. I mean, it's been fun talking about this. I am normally by this time of the year, I'm like, okay, it's March Madness. Like it's March Madness Sunday right now. I'd rather be watching basketball. I'm like, no, this year I'd rather be talking Survivor. And normally by this point, I'm like, whatever, like I got to go through the motions. No, I'm into it right now. I'm loving it. So
yeah, we were pretty aligned here. So
we were.
we'll see if it shakes out how we think, or if we'll all be blindsided come Wednesday.
That would be nice. I did not see Mike coming last week. Mike was, I think I'm like 11 or 12. I bottom half, but nowhere near thinking he was actually in danger. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. Has the fandom figured out like how many double boots there has to be?
I haven't seen it. If anybody has, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think we were trying to figure it out last week, and it's something like there still has to be like 5, or at least I think 5, because that would be 10 people. And so if you're talking like, then we'd have 3 episodes left over. And that would put us down to 9 people with 3 episodes, including the finale. So then you could get down to 8, 7, and then you could have a 6-person finale, 7-person finale. They've done 6 plenty of times. I could see a 7-person finale on this season.
Yeah, maybe a 7-person, but that still puts, because we still have more people than all of the 40 seasons, like 41 through. We have 19 people left, which is more than the starting 18. So we still have a whole season of Survivor to fit in, and we're already ready for episode 5, right?
Yeah, we're already a third in.
Yeah, so it's going to be wild to see 1 boot per real life day.
Yeah. So like, I guess like whatever day they're on day 10. They need to boot 16 people in 16 days. Yeah.
Yeah. Which that pace of that game has to be absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
They can't really go to this many people when it's a new season. It wouldn't make sense. We couldn't learn everyone's name. It has to be just for the repeats, but I'm all for Survivor 55, Second Chance 2, and let's put 24 people out there.
Agreed. I think returning player seasons now have to be 24 people. I don't think they have a choice at this point. I think it has to be. You've proven you can do it. Go do it.
Yeah.
And learn from mistakes that you made this season, because I think you probably should have done double boots earlier or whatever, but learn from those mistakes and move forward.
Yeah, it's really, really fun to see the larger tribes at the beginning too. I could not believe, I mean, it's like, of course, we're all sick and tired of 6-person tribes to start. But to have those 8 people, it just is a game changer for the pre-merge being so much more interesting. So anyway, I could talk for hours, which I will.
No, you're right. But so much better. It's so much better. We needed 8-person tribes. It's like, yeah, there's a reason you all started with that in season 1.
Yeah, it's like, fine, with new players, make it 16 people and 2 tribes of 18, if that's all there's time for. But now they're proving that there's time to do 20 people and 2 tribes of 10. So what the hell? I do not get that. Why? I do not understand from a producer perspective why we're staying with that 3 tribes, but maybe not anymore after this. I don't know. They're probably getting ready to film 51.
They're probably in like the next month or so. So hopefully they try to mix it up a little bit. It can't just go back to, oh great, 50 was fun. Let's go back to exactly what 49 was now.
No.
Can't do that.
No. Well, I hope that all is well your way. It's been so fun to get on here and talk Survivor. I had a great time. Power rankings are the most fun because you really get to go through how everyone's game is, and we actually have been able to see everyone's game. And so this is a really fun conversation. Thanks for having me, Phil.
Yeah, always a pleasure to have you on. What else do you have going on? I know you have your own business and everything. Anything you want to plug or talk about before we let you go?
Yeah, my business is called The Out Beyond, and I work with artistic, creative entrepreneurs. We sort of work out beyond the capitalistic patriarchal systems on building entrepreneurial businesses. It's so fun. I absolutely love it. I'm hoping to start to put more free stuff out for folks. There already is like a free, if you want to build your own business, I have like a business foundation planner, which is like building a business outside of the traditional business way. So that's on theoutbeyond.com. And you can download that for free or sign up for my newsletter there. I'm at the Kellyn B or at the Out Beyond on social media. If anyone is called to reach out about coaching and following your true self instead of following what society expects of you, if that life isn't fitting for you anymore, check out my stuff. And I'd love to talk with anybody who's looking for more freedom in their life.
There you go. Send me a link. I'll put it in the description.
Okay, will do.
That'll be perfect. So everybody, it'll be in the description in approximately 3 minutes. But thank you, Kellyn. Always a pleasure to have you on. This was great. And this was a fun chat. And everybody, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Like it, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't liked the video yet and you're this far in, like it. Don't know why you haven't. Otherwise, I'll be live on Tuesday with Tony Squares doing predictions.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he
Tony
has no
Squares.
idea who I am, but he called me boring as vanilla or something. So Tony Squares, you can spread that message.
He just ranked Survivor China as the 41st best season. So I don't know what this guy knows, but he's coming on to do predictions on
like 41st, like bad? 41st bad?
He ranked it 41. Yeah, out of 49. I know. We're gonna have a long talk about that, but
he's new to the club. We'll have to forgive him for a while on his bad takes.
I have to explain to him why you can't say things like this. Okay, Tony, why you hurt real people like me. But
you know what? Honestly, now I feel better that he called me vanilla. If he also thinks Survivor China is vanilla, somebody has his ice cream flavors mixed up and it ain't me.
Somebody just doesn't realize they like vanilla. That's what, or just don't like vanilla or whatever it is. It's like, you just don't realize vanilla is actually a good flavor. Yeah, that's it. Like,
yeah, exactly. All good. He's hilarious. I love his content. It feels like really refreshing and different than a lot of the stuff that's out there.
Because he's not just like I know everything about the game. It's like, this is what I'm watching and this is what I think. And I'm not reading about it on everything. I'm just going through and watching. So no, I love Tony. So he's doing Tuesday night's episode. We'll be live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow night, Tag With is live with Sophie Segretti from season 49. So the two of them will be doing Matt Chat. I'm not sure what time that's at. And Wednesday, Will and I will be recapping the episodes. Become a patron, patreon.com/thespecialist. That's it. That's all I got. Thanks, Kellyn.
Au revoir. Bye.